see, I think I'm a little bit low. There we go. Yeah. Nice to see you. I hope you've had a good weekend. Let's see if I can get this working. There we go. So, I hope you've had a good weekend and didn't do too much. Sorry, a little bit. As I wasn't here last week, this one has apparently drifted down a little bit. I'm a little bit off center. Throat is better than last week, and I'm sorry about that. I try to not miss, but sometimes it's just, I just cannot make it. And last week was unfortunately one of those days when it just wouldn't work. We'll see tonight. If it gets too bad, then I'll just stop it midstream, and we can continue at some other time. But hopefully it will be okay. Hey Nicole, it's always nice to see you. I am feeling better. I still have a cold and I'm still worn, but today feels like a good day. It does. And I just had I've spent a lot of time this last few weeks sitting with I actually did something interesting. I went in and looked at all of my live streams and looked at what have I been talking about and what have I been doing, and trying to see patterns kind of what it is that I have here. And it was so nice to see that Alessandra, hey, nice to see you. And Mats, nice to see you as well. In my mind, it's very difficult for me to limit down and like, okay, this is what I do. I'd like to have people in a room, in like a room where I'm at, and just lock the door and have you there for a day, and then I can explain the concept, how it works, and really get people to understand how to shift their focus from focusing on the story of their life to actually experiencing life, and how that is much more enjoyable when you accept the story you have rather than keep on fighting for another story that isn't yours, and then make the best of the story you have, but enjoying that story. So I can't do that on YouTube. It just doesn't work. Like I have such little time to do that. And also when I do coaching, I find it difficult sometimes, because for it to be really effective, I need to have people and be able to work with them for preferably like a few months. And so I went through all of my live streams and really looked like, okay, what systems do I bring up? What do I talk about? And as I was doing that, so much came up. Like I do this, and I used AI, of course, also to scan through, and from that I was building patterns, and I realized, wow, I have a lot of, I would not call them methods or techniques, but there's a lot of structure behind what I say. Oh, sorry. You might not be able to hear me. Hopefully that you can hear me better now. There's a lot of structure behind what I say, and a lot of thought behind it. It's not just random stuff, which it seems like sometimes. It's just because my mind, I cannot remember the things. They just come to me every time. But I'm repeating them over and over so many times, and that way it kind of just makes sense. Like that they have structures that I follow, even though I can't always come up with them, and then I forget about the good ones. And I think it was Azriel who brought up the sausage method, which is something that I talk about a lot in my coaching calls, but I forget to talk about it here. How to slice time and really come here. So I've been working on that, trying to get some kind of structure from that. And it's been a lot of fun. And I can really see how useful it would be if I would, instead of just going into it with like, okay, let's see where you are and let's just work from there. If I really want to help people to see this way of viewing the world, and not just see it, but applying it to how do I use that to just, if you want to, I mean, say you wanted to lose weight, there's so much you could do with this to help you lose weight, because so much of gaining weight is distortions. And say you wanted to come up with a name for your company, there's so much you could do with this to help you make it easier to come up with the name of your company. Or you wanted to be in a relationship, there's so much you could do with this to help that. But I never see those outcomes as the main thing. For me, it's much more important to help you understand how this works, and then you can apply it to anything. But for people to be open and willing to take the time and effort to do this, they need to feel, okay, this gives me that. Even when you come here and we sit here and talk, it's still kind of whatever comes up today. But what I've done now is I've really been structuring and coming up with a pattern. Okay, I would start with this and move it to that. We could have a structure too. So basically what I want to do is I want to create I had a course in mind at first, but I thought no, because I've talked about this for a long time. I did a year ago. What I will do instead is I'll do what's called a cohort. It's like a group, and we'll be like, I think it will be maximized like 5 to 7 people or something like that, like a small group. And we'd meet every week for 3 months. And every beginning of every meeting, we'd bring up a new topic. We'd discuss it. We'd go back to like people's experiences, and there would be like a Discord group for just that group that they could then talk to each other. And when I think about this, it just makes like, oh, that would be amazing. Like I want to be part of that group. That sounds like so much fun, because just writing this down makes it clearer to me, because now when I put it into writing and like a structure, I'm like, well, this just makes so much more sense if I would just sit down and write it down instead of just trying to come up with it every time. So somehow I feel like I need to make it new every time. I don't need to. And like I said, my mind just doesn't work that way. I have a hard time remembering bullet points, or like, oh, it's like this and this and this. But because I work with how it feels, I just talk from experience. But if I have the bullet points printed out, it's very easy to discuss it. So the thing that will be something I'll do after I relaunch the channel, which is happening now soon, hopefully. I just haven't had time or energy to do anything, but like within a few weeks there'll be videos coming out, and then hopefully there's enough traffic that we can get together a group of 5 to 7 people and just have a really nice experience for 3 months. And I'd be very curious to see where that leads to. When I think about it, like I said, I find that a lot of fun. So today I'm actually feeling, I feel worn, I'm tired, but this has just kind of been mulling around in my head today. So that sounds like fun. Like say Nicole is saying, a 1 or 2 day online seminar would be wonderful. That's also an idea. And that is a structure I can try and will try and will do. For now, the thing that appeals to me the most is the group coaching, because it's just a more intimate way of doing it long term. The thing that I have a hard time with seminars is that it's so difficult to get people to really do things, because you go to seminars and you get motivated and you see a new perspective, and then that kind of disappears. It is difficult to get people to really make permanent change from one time, and I believe more in a long-term thing. But I also really do enjoy doing like one-day retreats. I did that quite a lot when I was a monk, and I haven't done that for a long time. I also have, like I said, been thinking about doing real-life guided meditation here where we live, at a local yoga studio. So that might be something that I do as well. But for now, that's a little bit on pause. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, I when I talk about it, like I said, when I talk about it now, like I feel like this would be so much fun. Such a good idea, especially now when I'm starting to write things down and can see a structure instead of just, let's just wing it, which I am very good at, because I don't talk about anything from memory or because I have read books and I understand these things. No, I just feel it, and whatever people say, I can talk about it from that perspective. But it is useful to have a structure and a, do you call it a syllabus? Like a direction where you want to do it, which would be what you do with a cohort. So yeah, that's something that hopefully will happen in the not too distant future. I'm still working on that, and I'm still recuperating from lack of sleep and colds and everything. So we'll see how much time it takes, but it'll be there soon. I was thinking about today otherwise. I had so many topics that came up when I was doing the writing, and now they just kind of lost. I think I might do that actually. I might start with having a bit more direction to these evenings as well, that I bring a topic and we can discuss. Does anyone have anything that they've had on their mind that you'd like to bring up or like to have us talk about or look at? Let me just see. There we go. If not, I'll just I'll come up with something. Does this sound like a fun idea, by the way? Otherwise, with the cohort, is that something that would be interesting to people? I like that idea, and I really enjoy the what do you call it? The monthly group coaching calls that we've had. I just want to do that a bit more structured. And we'll see what happens with that next year, because it's difficult to find evenings times in the weekends, but we'll try. Okay, so something else. I've been thinking about meditation and why people don't continue to meditate, because that is also one of the biggest issues people run into. They sit down and they try to start, but they start for a week, and maybe they start for a week. I remember when Mats came in here, he was on a, I think it was a 20-day streak of meditating every day. And people tend to do these challenges, or have these ideas of, hey Stephen, nice to see you. Have these ideas of what they want to do. So they have I want to meditate 1 hour per day, and then they kind of go in very hard. But then they don't think about the things around it. So when you start sitting, I mean, everyone here has been here for quite a while. Most of the people here, at least, have been here for quite a while. So you have a routine of what we do here, but do you have a routine for when you're not here? Meaning that, do you have a place where you can sit down? Do you have a cushion readily available? Do you have comfortable clothes? Do you have an environment that you can make quiet or safe and calm for you to sit? Do you have, if you want to have some kind of music playing, some people have rituals they do before. Maybe they light some incense. I never like that because I think incense is just way too powerful. If you're in an outside place, in a temple or in an outside place, it's much easier to use the incense because that will, I mean, it's not so intense. Inside, incense just feels very strong to me, but that's also a personal thing, how much people like that. So if you really want to establish a practice where you can keep on doing mindfulness practice or a regular meditation practice, the main way to think about it is, think about it how people do, I mean, how companies do social media. So, I mean, everyone has a phone here, I'm assuming. And very likely on that phone you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, YouTube. What else is there? Snapchat. Is that a dating site? I don't actually know the other ones. I just pretty much, I use very few of them. But what they will do is they will make it very, very, very easy for you to click onto that app. So they have reminders that come up all the time. It's like, bling, someone sent you a message. You're like, oh, that's interesting. I need to go and look at that. And you click it. And as soon as you get in there, there's all these things that try to keep you there, keep you from going away. If you do the same thing with your meditation, meaning put reminders like, okay, it's time to meditate. When you want to sit down and meditate, instead of having it so that, okay, I have this space here that I meditate, and I need to go and sweep the floor, I'm going to put out the cushion, I'm going to get my pillow to sit on, and then I'm going to get my earplugs, I'm going to get this thing over there, I need to close the curtains, and you have all these steps that you need to do before. That's, even though you don't think about it, you might even think about it as a nice routine to do before you sit down. It is actually something that is hindering you from sitting down because there's an obstacle to overcome to sit down. So really one of the main things, or main recommendations I can give you if you want to really establish practice is to make it very simple to sit down. Just have a place in your home where it's super easy for you to sit down and start meditating. And it could be as simple as in a sofa. You have a spot, okay, I sit here, and you know this is where you sit. And you might tell, if you have other people in your family, tell them that when you sit down, like, don't disturb me because now I'm doing meditation, so just leave me be for that 20 minutes. You could even put a timer up so they can see it. If you have kids who keep asking for attention, or a partner who keeps asking for attention. So just think about all these things to minimize the steps. Let's see, Alessandro saying, I think that really helped me to keep meditating is participating to the meetings of an online Sangha in the Plum Village tradition. The energy of others helps my energy a lot. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, Plum Village is, I don't know if you knew, but I've been to Plum Village for like a year. In total, I love Plum Village. Really nice tradition. I disagree with a lot of the practices they have, but they're really nice in the practical aspect of practicing. Really, really good in that. And it's good to be part of a Sangha. This is in a way a online Sangha, meaning we come here twice per week. It's a space where you can come and just drop in and sit and meditate. It's open to ask questions. We have discussions. Might even pull down on the discussions if people want and just have more of the meditation. Like, we'll see what happens next year. Mats is saying, crap, I forgot something and don't have the time to sit today, unfortunately. Hope you all have a good meditation, a good night later on. I'm sorry to hear that, Mats, but nice to have you here for a short while. There you go. So yeah, that's also another thing. If you think about that, is it Alessandro or Georgia? So an online Sangha. A Sangha is a group of people who it's a Buddhist term. It's a group of people who practice together, I guess you could call it. If you have a meeting like you have here, that you can come and you can sit down and someone helps you and we kind of talk ourselves into the space where we start meditating, that is something that is very useful for getting you moving towards sitting. There's a sense of accountability to it also, because you keep showing up and people recognize you. Alessandro, yeah, nice. People recognize you and keep, like, accountable maybe is too strong of a word, but help you, like, be aware of if you're there or not, as a way of saying it. So an online Sangha or just coming here twice per week is a great way. Having a routine, like I said, I always have these. This is from Plum Village, by the way. Ringing that three times. I sometimes do that myself, just because I like the. For me, it's my mind is like, okay, I sit and I bling. I sit and now it's time to meditate. After a while, it becomes muscle memory. I've sat so much that as soon as I put my legs, myself cross-legged, I just start meditating. And it was when I came home from being a monk, it was really strong. I would just sit like this and I just go, I just immediately go into meditation. And that lasted for years until I had issues with my knees and I couldn't sit cross-legged for quite a while. I was not able to. Now it's not as strong as it was before, but still just sitting cross-legged makes it very easy for me to meditate. I immediately become calm. I start focusing on my breath and really slowing down my breath. And I can see that with my, I have a chest strap and I have this ring to see my heart rate variability, how relaxed my body is physiologically. And when I cross my legs, I just become calmer. It's just very clear that by doing that, I become calm. So for me, that is part of my behavioral science for making me calm. It's kind of like Pavlov's dogs, they ring the bell and they start salivating. I've trained my body to cross your legs. That means you're going to become calm. Because if you do that tens of thousands of hours, it just becomes very easy to remember. Just sit down, close your eyes, and then you calm down. So all of these things are ways that you can boost or make it easier for you to actually continue sitting, to actually have a practice that you can maintain. Because it is not easy to maintain a practice. It's easy to start a practice. It's easy to go in and sit 1 hour every morning, 1 hour at lunch, and 1 hour in the evening. Like, yeah, I'm going to sit. Oh my goodness, I'm going to sit so much. And you can do that, but for most people, that's not sustainable if they have a family, if they have a job, if they have responsibilities. They simply cannot do that. So people tend to want to go for the really big things that feel like something grand is going to happen. I'm going to do this new technique, and it's shadow sides, and it really goes in deep, and I have this guru who gives me these secret techniques, and I'm going to go so deep and rip out the core, and they do that for 3 weeks. Heck, they do it for 3 months. And it's so little time. You have to understand that this takes a lot of time. There can be changes that happen very quickly, especially in the beginning. But the real change comes when you do this long term, consistently, and with the same technique, not just jumping left and right all the time looking for the cool technique that's going to save you, but instead actually choosing something. And it doesn't really matter so much what you choose, just as simple as possible is my recommendation, and then just stick to that for a few months. And if it doesn't fit you, then by all means try something else. That's perfectly fine. It's not like you have to do the technique you chose. So yeah, some thoughts on mindfulness and practicing and how to make it stick, because ultimately meditation can make very quick changes in your physiology, how you feel right now. But as soon as you stop doing it, you're going to go back to the way it was before. So what you really want to do is you want to make some kind of permanent change, some kind of change where the way that you interact with the world around you just becomes effortless compared to how it was before. More effortless. Is that a word? More effortless, a term. So it's not the same struggle when you start seeing that you can relate to the world in a different way. And not because your mind is so pure and so clean and so focused, but because you learn to be aware of what emotions you're feeling all the time, and being aware of how that interacts with your relationship to the world around you. So, yeah, I hope that is something that you can bring with you and make it easier to maintain your practice in the future. If no one has any questions, I think we'll just start with the sitting, because my voice is starting to get tired and I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it through the whole night, so may as well start while we're on good footing. Let's do this. There we go. So for those of you who are new, we usually start with a bit of chat like this, and then after that we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. After that we go into a guided meditation today, since we have it's Monday, so we do 20 minutes guided meditation. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is a way of simply bringing ourselves back to our senses, and the way that we do that is by saying out aloud 5 things we can see, 4 things we can feel, 3 things that we can hear, and then 2 things we can smell, 2 things we can taste. Actually, that was the 5th one. So yeah, one thing that we can taste is the final one. I hope I didn't miss anything there. And the reason this is so good is it's a really good way of bringing yourself back to here, back to now, back to what your experience is. It's really good if you're having anxiety, or if things feels really tough, or you're stuck in your mind and you cannot let go of it. Then this is a way to just bring you here to be able to stay present with what's going on. So I'll say it out loud and you can continue on your end and just do it on your side. I see a fire extinguisher, and I see the fire extinguisher. I see the colors, the shapes, the textures, the length of it, the material it's made of, and it's just interesting to see. Like there's a fascination with seeing reality this way, when you don't need it to be a specific way. You're just observing the details of that object. I see an office chair. And again, there's no trying here, we're just doing. If you don't feel anything, that's like you're not supposed to feel anything, just observe it how it is. I see a lamp that is very warm and very nice shine to it. I see a Buddha statue. And I see some color markers. Five things I could see. Obviously you say on your end what you see. Try to say it out loud, because it really helps with experiencing it, rather than just like rambling them off in your mind, because that doesn't do anything at all. Next we say 4 things that we can feel. So I can feel my woolen sofa. I can even run my hand a little bit above it and I can still feel the tickling of the fabric. I feel the carpet in my office. and I can feel my beard. And I can feel the boom arm for my microphone. 4 things that I could feel. Next we take 3 things that we can hear. I can hear the music of a car passing by. I can hear some kind of popping in my ear. It's like the cold is infected, so there's like a popping of the ear, equalizing. And I can hear the fans of my computer. Three things I could hear. Next we take 2 things that we can smell. I can smell washing detergent. And I can smell lemon. There's 2 things I can smell. Next we take 1 thing that we can taste. There's a metallic taste in my mouth. Almost like blood. So for today's meditation, just start by relaxing yourself into the position you're sitting in. Just feel what it's like to sit where you're sitting. Maybe you're sitting cross-legged. Maybe you're sitting in a chair or in an armchair. Doesn't really matter so much how you're sitting or standing, but just make sure it's a comfortable position to be in for the next 20 minutes. And as you do so, start being aware of your breath. As usual, we're not focusing on minute small details or the way it feels at the nostrils when air is coming into our body. Because the more we focus on details and smaller points, that tends to create more focus, more striving, more effort, making more of a task rather than just being, which is what we're trying to learn how to be or do. So just start being aware of breath happening and what that feels like. If you're looking for it, that's not quite what we're trying to do. If you're searching, if you're trying to make it feel more, it's also not the direction we're aiming for. But if instead you're relaxing, if instead you're okay with not feeling your breath and waiting for it to come to you, then you're doing what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find a relaxed state of awareness where we are aware of our breath happening as it's moving in and as it's moving out, and in and out. It's very easy when one starts to do this to have a lot of thoughts of whether you are able to do this or not do this, if you're a good meditator or a bad meditator. Maybe you have some experience in the past where you just couldn't sit at all, or maybe you have an experience where it was amazing to sit and you had all these nice experiences, and right now you're not feeling anything. So that must mean that you're doing something wrong. And you try to adjust your technique or your posture, or you You try to look for something else to get that nice feeling that you had that one time when you were sitting. I'd like you to let all of that go. For these next 20 minutes, we're just trying to be. We're not trying to achieve anything, not trying to attain anything, to become anything. Instead, we're just trying to observe what it is like to breathe in and out, in and out. We're not trying to control the breath. We're not trying to get rid of the breath and not feel it by focusing on something else. Instead, we're trying to cultivate a sense of awareness of breath happening. So allow yourself to let go of any idea of what you should or shouldn't experience, any idea of what it's been like before when you were meditating, and just see what is it like to sit right now and observe your breath. Maybe it feels stressful. Maybe it feels peaceful. Maybe it's a nice feeling. Or maybe it's an uncomfortable feeling. For this meditation, it doesn't really matter what you're feeling. Instead, we're trying to learn to be okay with what is. To be okay with the idea that right now it's a little bit uncomfortable. I don't need to take that piece of chocolate to numb that feeling. I don't need to go out and yell at someone because I have an uncomfortable feeling inside of me. It's just an uncomfortable feeling. It's not you. You might think it's you, but it's just a feeling. So move towards that small thin line where it's just breath happening, where it's just ease, effortlessness. No need to do anything. And at the same time, we're not talking about drifting off into our thoughts and creating a fantasy so that we can get a nice feeling of something that we like to think about. Instead, it's establishing ourselves being right here, right now, by using the breath as a vehicle to keep us grounded, to keep us present. Now, especially in the beginning, it can be useful to count the breath from 1 to 8 and then down again from 8 to 1. So I will do this together with you one time, and then you can continue in doing it by yourself. So, breathing in and out. 1. In and out. 2. In and out. 3. In and out. 4. In and out. 5. In and out. 6. In and out. 7. In and out. 8. In and out. 7. In and out. 6. In and out. 5. In and out. 4. In and out. 3. In and out. 2. In and out. 1. Now keep counting your breath, going from 1 to 8 and then down again from 8 to 1 as you breathe in and out. 1. in and out. As you've been sitting for a while, feel free to stop the counting and instead start moving your awareness around in your body. Feel if you can feel any kind of pressure, any kind of uncomfortable feeling. Sometimes there's a uncomfortable feeling in your torso or stomach area, and some people might call that anxiety. Sometimes there's a warm, tingling feeling all over, and some people might call that love. Maybe there's excitement. Maybe there's fear or worry. Try to see what it is like to observe that and just see it for what it is. A feeling in your body. It is not you. There's no absolute person in those emotions. It's just a relationship between what you believe to be you and the thing on the outside. And when you can truly see those distortions, those emotions as simply feelings in the body, then all of a sudden they lose their power over you. And it's just something that is happening, and you can choose what to do. For most people, when they feel an uncomfortable feeling, they take action because of that feeling. I feel an uncomfortable feeling in my stomach, so I stuff myself with chocolate. Or I take a bag of crisps. Or I feel this really sharp, stingy feeling inside of me, so I start yelling and screaming at someone who's standing next to me. When you're able to see that it's just a feeling inside of you, there's nothing to be afraid of. It does not control you unless you let it. Then poof, they're gone. And there was never anything there. Other than the substance that you gave it, there's nothing there. So start moving around and see if you can release any tension, any difficult feeling. There's no need to get away from it. Instead, just feel it. Don't be afraid of it. There's nothing dangerous. At the same time, don't overwhelm yourself. Never take on more than you can comfortably handle. And just see what happens when you allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. as always, thank you. I want to try a fart meditation. Salkari Historia. I think my kids would really enjoy that. I actually had meditation one time. Well, I had many meditation with children when I was ordained in Sri Lanka. And one time, the kids, they all fell asleep. I had like 30 kids. They had a Poya day, and it was a moon day. And I had the kids for meditations. We did meditation, and every one of them fell asleep. So afterwards, the kids started calling it like, yeah, it's sleeping meditation, and then everyone just laughed. I just thought that was funny. So maybe I should try farting meditation. Thank you, JBB. It's nice to see you here as well. I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you back on Thursday again. Thank you.